It's currently 9:27 p.m. I'm currently in the process of reorganizing my marker satchel. The first two rows are meant to be exclusively black Sharpie markers of all kinds, dual tip, fine tip, and ultra fine tip. And then these rows are supposed to be full of some of them Sharpie markers that are colors that are supposed to represent the entire spectrum of human skin tone. These in particular and then the rest in these rows are supposed to be for either drawing facial features such as noses and eyelids, or in the case of these three Sharpie markers in the last row are supposed to be for depicting holes such as those of the nostrils or the inner canal of the ears. It was 5:30 in the morning when I had a couple of the cookies that Dad's neighbor gave us the other day. One oatmeal and one. The first word that comes to mind when I think of it is snickerdoodle. Though it could also be a ginger cookie. I'm not 100% sure. Dad put some cheddar cheese into these mashed potatoes. A store-bought from Wegmans. I believe from the Bob Evans brand. Dad finished this steak pretty much just now. If I recall correctly, he started marinating them around 7 p.m. 5:30 in the morning was around the time I had my first cup of coffee. From then on, I had 3 to 4 cups of coffee total from 5:30 in the morning to about 8:30 in the morning. I used this envelope that I used instead of a notebook because I couldn't find an empty notebook. Or really any notebook for that matter, from briefly searching around the house. And this was part of the efforts to organize the first part of the marker satchel in order to get a feel for whether or not how I had the skin tone Sharpie markers arranged were generally from lightest hues to darkest hues, and whether they truly represented the whole spectrum of human skin color. And then a little bit later, to help me try to determine what color Sharpie markers would be best for each range of the skin tone Sharpie marker colors. Using these for these skin tones, using these two to draw facial features. I haven't decided yet for these two. Though these are the current promising candidates, The aim is to pick colors that will naturally outline and show facial features on each of the skin tones. Once I complete that part, well, essentially, the next part will be for the next rows to be dedicated to the Roy G. Biv format in order to essentially put the rest of the colors of the Sharpie markers in my marker satchel. I think first a row of fine tip Sharpie markers, and then the row below it, ultra fine, lighter hues. It'll first be lighter hues and then darker hues. At least that's my current plan in terms of organizing my marker satchel. I would like to draw a Christmas wreath polystyrene drawing for Dad's neighbor as a thank you for the other day bringing us these homemade cookies, of which this one is a chocolate chip. I think this one is essentially a plain cookie with a Hershey's Kiss put in the middle of it. They're both very good regardless. And this is the polystyrene block I have plans of using for the Stephen Curry polystyrene drawing project. I have plans of starting as soon as I finish organizing my marker satchel. Around 12:15 p.m., I had 2 bagel sandwiches that Dad made for me in the morning, along with the leftover baked or fried ravioli with a glass of milk. And then around 4:30 p.m., I had one of the Wegmans pre-made salads, only it was more of a salad kit and it wasn't by the Wegmans brand. And I had that with another glass of milk. This is where I'm at currently. In terms of the task sets. Earlier side quests today also featured the Fairy Queen. I've really been enjoying this chapter's side quests for reintroducing some old characters. In the afternoon, at some point, I also briefly went into the basement for about a few minutes to look for a 2D circle shaped piece of polystyrene with a hole in the middle of it. Essentially what's probably technically known as a polystyrene wreath. So I could make that Christmas wreath polystyrene drawing for Dad's neighbor with my shirt over my mouth and nose. But I didn't find such a piece, let alone any. I didn't find any polystyrene, let alone the particular kind of piece I was looking for.